Hi, Ollie. Good morning. How are you doing?
Yeah, good.
Would you like to introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are, what you do?
So I'm Ollie. I
Come a bit closer to the mic.
country window
There we go.
cleaning, which I started with Angie around 3 years ago now.
Is it really?
Yeah, nearly 3 years ago. So yeah, I thought I'd come on the podcast and talk to you guys.
Amazing.
So how's the window cleaning industry now? Because obviously I've stepped out. So I mean, you and I talk quite a lot. But
Yeah, it is saturated, but there is still plenty of room for us to sort of grow.
are you enjoying it?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy it in the winter as well as the summer? Because
So the summer makes up for the winter.
Right.
It's like today, it's the best job in the world. You wouldn't be doing anything else.
yeah.
In the winter, you've just got to push through it. But again, every day's different. You're not sat in an office, so yeah.
Do you? You're quite young. I don't mean that disrespectfully in any way, shape, or form. And I mean, obviously, I know your story. So, what made you want to set up your own business? Because it's quite a big step. I mean, you've got. How old were you when you set up your business?
About 17, I think.
And how old
Yeah.
were you?
When did we start? 2022, 23.
I can't remember because I had.
23, so I was 22.
You were 22. It's quite young, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just
yes.
turned 22.
Yeah. So what led you to doing that?
So I reckon there's a few things. Debt, not being included well in the team I was in with the job I was doing at the time, and just wanting my own business in general, because I did business studies at the Blue School.
Oh, did you?
So yeah, that's when I met you, when I was cleaning windows for another company, and I thought, I'm not really happy here, this isn't paying me enough, I've got 30 odd grand's worth of debt from a few cars that I've crashed and other expenses. I need a way to get out of this, I need a way to sort of make myself happy and have something to show for myself. That's when we started the business. There and then you said, have a think about it, come back to me on Friday. This is something that me and Dave have wanted to start. And I thought, had you have not said that to me, then I don't think I would have done anything about it, made that step. So I was like, yeah, do you know what? I'm really not happy with my job. I'm going to go see Angie on Friday. And we registered the company there and then.
Regrets?
No regrets.
You used to drive me mad.
I can attest to that.
But it is lovely for me to witness that growth in you. Do you know what I'm saying? I think you've always been a very kind person. You are a kind man, and that's what I've really loved about you. But it's that bit where the age thing, whereas I suppose I'm that far ahead. And I always remember, and I know you were really tolerant of me as well, because it was like, no, you can't spend that money. No, we're saving for this and we're saving for that. And I think it must have been really hard for you to accept that from some old woman that you didn't really know very well. You can stop laughing down there as well.
Some old woman. I like that.
You've had it as well, though, haven't you?
For sure,
So
yeah.
I've knocked
Yeah.
the living hell out of you as well.
Absolutely.
So was that tough?
Well, it's little things that you need. You think, oh, this is going to make the job so much easier. And then I've got you saying, oh, just wait a bit longer. This is the plan. And I'm out there in the rain and the wind, sort of carrying these heavy bottles of water around, thinking, what am I doing? But you've got the goal, and you can see it's a clear path as long as you put the work in. So yeah.
And you have put the work in. You've always worked really, really hard. And we were talking just before we came on air about you haven't been in another podcast. And that was one of the things that came up in that podcast was about. And the guy seemed really shocked when he said, what? Oh, mind you, I've got to challenge you, the fact that I did also to put leaflets around the village, which I did not appreciate. But that you were doing both. Not only marketing your own company, but you were also out there cleaning the windows and it was everything, wasn't it?
Everything.
And they were really shocked about that. But I think when you set up your own company, that's what you do, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just get on with it. You do everything.
Yeah, I mean, you've got two options. You either drop yourself in the deep end and you sort of don't outsource anything. You do it all yourself.
Yeah.
You learn all of these skills. Or you kind of take it the easy way, I think, and you stick in your job, you do your business on the side, you outsource sort of certain things like marketing, and you just slowly sort of bite away at it Whereas I didn't really have the choice because of my situation. I was kind of like sink or swim. So as you know, it was putting out the flyers when we weren't cleaning the windows, even if you had to nag me in the evenings to go.
Did you find that about business? Did you just go?
I was just thinking about the whole nagging. I really, the nagging's. Angie's a great nagger. I've decided. I think that should be like her.
Is it nagging?
You ranked her like
more,
abilities.
It's more sort of
encouraging.
Yeah, encouragement.
It is. I think that's probably a better way, more polite way of saying it. I like that.
I think, but isn't it? It's that bit sometimes when you've got this goal. This is what you want to achieve in the next 12 months, or whatever, and then breaking down the steps as to how you're going to get there. Because very often you just see the goal, don't you? But actually think, if I don't have this amount of money in the bank, then I'm not going to achieve that goal. I'm not going to get this. I'm not going to get that. And I think sometimes, well, we've had it together, haven't we? Where you said, and then all of a sudden it's just come together and everything's.
Yeah, that's it. I think one of the biggest challenges that I found in business in general is waiting. I don't know how you find it, but you're waiting for a customer to accept a quote, or you're waiting to do that next job. The customer's not ready for you yet. How have you found that?
Yeah, so in terms of waiting, stuff like buying equipment. So we've wanted a carbon fibre pole, which in the window cleaning world is sort of what you need. It's lightweight. It's not going to put your back out after a day's work. And me and Ange were saying, you need this X amount of money. It's going to take you this long. And then we had a little game plan of how we were going to get there. And I think it was like a month away from actually reaching the goal, and I just went and bought it. I thought, I'm going to sacrifice my money, just get it. And then I just showed Ange and I was like, look what I've got.
You were like a naughty kid, really, because it's like my children used to do that as well. They'd go out, they'd say they want something, and they say, well, save, and then you can have it. And then all of a sudden it would appear. Where did you get the money? Well, I did save, and I couldn't like do the half and save and half spend. So they just bought it. It is quite funny. But I think that sometimes that when to go to the bank and say to the bank, oh, can I have X amount of thousands of pounds to set up my own business and do this and do that? It's impossible. You can't do it. It doesn't work like that.
No, I went to this MP's breakfast thing with the MP for North Somerset, Dan Aldridge, probably about 2 months ago now. And they kept going on about how, there's startup business funding, and there's funding for this business and funding for this and enterprise this. And I said to them, can you please stop saying that? Because it's not funding. It's a loan. What you're offering is a government-backed loan. But it's not government-backed because actually you, as the director of that company, has to personally guarantee the loan to that company. And the MP sort of looked at me as if I had made it up. I said, no, that is what it is. That is what we're talking about. And there was a number of people. There was probably 30 kind of business owners from North Somerset in the room. And there was probably 4 or 5 who said, yeah, that's exactly what it is. You can't call this funding, because funding, in my mind, is money that you're given to your business to help start it. That's very different to a loan. And have you had any funding?
We've had a grant.
Yeah.
From SWEF, I think it's called.
Yeah.
So that was for sort of around £2,000. The criteria is you've got to be under 23 and under 3 years in business.
Oh, it makes it perfect for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we put in the application for that and said what we needed. For us, it was another gutter vacuum and a solar panel cleaning pole, because obviously solar panels we weren't able to do at the time. So we could prove that we had another service we could expand into. And with the gutter vac, that means both of us can do it, myself and Sam, which means sort of all the leeway you've got then with the week. You don't have to plan certain vans to be in certain places. Yeah, we got approved for that. So we got selected out of a few applicants.
Amazing.
And 6 months later, we've obviously just messaged them and said, this is how we're getting on. And yeah, I think we've met the criteria well with that.
That's fantastic. That's really good.
The thing is, though, I know it was something that I picked up, hadn't I? And I'd sent that on to you. And the only reason I was on that was because I'm looking for grants for the charity.
Well, this is it.
And that's the thing. When you're working, the hours that you work, when do you get time to sit down and go through all... I know you're rubbish at your emails. It drives me mad. You go through all your emails and then look at all the grant opportunities and it's impossible, I think.
It is, but also, I guess my question is if that wasn't a grant or funding, if that was a loan that you personally had to guarantee, Would you have done it?
No, I wouldn't say so. I would say it's good because it gives you that spring. It puts you forwards. But at the same time, I think I'd probably get a cheaper pole, fund it myself, and sort of then upgrade later on down the line. Mm-hmm. But that's purely because you sort of, in your first couple of years of business, every pound counts, and you want to take things sort of safely and slowly.
But the other thing is can you... I've approached the bank about some loans, as you know, we've got some properties that we just want to pay off and stuff. And it's, you know, we've got property that's worth a considerable amount of money, more a lot more than what we're asking from the bank. Oh, they've rejected us. Even personal. And you think, what's the chance? They're not going to give it to me. What's the chances of you getting it when A, you don't own your own property, or you might own your own? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like there's no damn hope, and yet they send out all this stuff saying how wonderful they are and how wonderful they are that they support people. But I agree with what you're saying.
It drives me drives me mad, to be honest, because you've got the British Business Bank, which is designed to support British businesses, and it gives money to lenders to then lend on to small businesses, and Funding Circle is a really good example of that. I get marketing letters from Funding Circle probably once a month, which is also really irritating. And I had a loan with them, and bearing in mind, British Business Bank is designed to support small businesses, and the interest rate we were paying was something like 12%.
Yeah.
And you think, how is that? How can the government seriously say they are supporting small businesses when they're charging them those kinds of rates? I think it's outrageous, to be honest. Absolutely outrageous.
Well, it's impossible to do that, isn't it? It's just impossible to be able to pay a 12% interest rate.
But it's also worse than that. When I had this loan, I asked if I could pay a chunk off.
You can't.
And you can't. So if you suddenly, let's say you borrow 100 grand, for example, and then you win a big customer, and you call them up and go, hey, I've got 25 grand's come in. I want to just pay that off. No, you've got to pay all of it off. And you think, hang on a minute. Again, how are you supporting small businesses? They're not going to give me, the bank's not going to give me 12% for leaving that money in the bank. So I've now got like a double whammy. Got this money sat there doing nothing, plus I'm paying 12% on this loan. It really irritates me, to be honest.
You've done really well when you've done your vans, haven't you? And I've just admired how you've done that. So
we're quite fortunate. We use Stripe for our transactions. Say 50% of customers are on Stripe. When we've done the clean, we press done on our app. They get billed straight away.
It always makes me laugh. As soon as you drive off my drive, I get an Amex notification that you've charged me. I think that's. I wish I could do that in my business.
It's like our way of saying, right, bye, we're off. You've been charged. And it's like any amount as well. If we do a full Monty, we can just charge it like that.
Yeah.
Stripe, because of the growth they see with us and the amount of people we're signing up each month, offer us something called Stripe Capital. So they will give us a loan. At the moment, they'll give us like 10 grand. Instantly, and then you pay it off with 25% of your transactions. So if you were to get £1 come in, 25p would go straight on the loan before you even touch it. Off the top of my head, the interest rate is around 9% on that. So what I thought to do was, we need the second van. I didn't want to go and approach a bank and get into all that. So I thought, right, we'll have a look at this Stripe Capital. I like these terms, 25% of one of our payment streams, so we can sort of leave it ticking away in the background. Went and bought the van for about 4 grand, so we took out a 5 grand loan with them, and it estimated it to be 6 months to pay it back, and we ended up paying it back in 3 months.
Oh wow!
Just from the 25%.
But the option that you can actually do that is brilliant, isn't it?
I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, the fact that a US entity, Stripe, is also charging less than the British Business Bank.
So for context,
flexible.
Monzo, who we use, 25% was the lowest.
Wow.
Really?
For us as a small business,
That's phenomenal, yeah.
That is crazy.
It's funny, isn't it, how there's so many organisations out there that are really willing to support young entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs in general, and then you get other institutions that are just, it's almost like we're going to offer you this 25% because actually we don't want to work with you. It's almost like you can have it, but it's going to cost you this. But really what they're saying is, we don't want to work with you.
But I don't think that's just on young entrepreneurs. I think
No, I
that's
don't think it is.
on
It's-
business across unless you come in with an investor that's got a significant amount of money, they're not interested. I have so with the company, we have a current account, a savings account, and a client account. And the client account is completely client money, so it's nothing to do with us as such, but we just safeguard it and then it gets transferred back to the client. But in that, we have the interest rate on the savings account is 0.6%. I mean, so basically what I've done is I've set up through somebody I know, I've set up, it's called Flagstone, and basically you have this Flagstone account and you can move your money around for business you can't, once you put a certain amount in, you can't move it around, but you can move it into a high, so I think I moved some money and got, 4.85%. Rather than 0.6%. And you think, well, how can they offer that and you can't? Yeah. I've been loyal to you as a customer, but yet you will not change that rate. And there was a significant amount of money, so I'm just moving it now.
Yeah. And there's that gap as well with youth business like yourself. You don't get the opportunities that someone who's in their 40s or 50s would. You're sort of penalised for your age because you've got no track record as such.
You don't own a house. You've got no collateral.
But that comes back to what I was saying at the start, which is you might not own a house, you might not have the collateral, but why should you risk that? Why should you take that risk when there's plenty of other people out there who just aren't willing to take that risk? And I feel like there should be some support out there from the government, British Business Bank, whatever it is, that actually goes, we'll take a chance on you because you've got this history, you've got this business plan. We might not give you 20 grand, but we might give you 2 grand. And if you prove yourself, we'll give you another 5 and then another 10 or whatever to help you. But it seems that they don't do that. No one seems to have thought of doing that.
But I don't know that they do that in any countries as such, do they?
Possibly not.
But also, if you take on COVID, when they gave out all those COVID grants, and they, so many people took advantage of it in a negative manner.
Yeah.
And those people that didn't take advantage actually got penalised for it, which it wasn't even their doing. Do you know what I mean? They could not pursue what they were doing because of COVID, and it failed because of the side effects of COVID. They've been punished. The people that have taken thousands and thousands and thousands out and gone out and bought themselves a speedboat or a horse or a trailer, and it's wrong, isn't it? It just seems crazy.
It is, yeah. No, I agree with you. It's I think the problem is that a lot of the decisions on how this happens are made by non-business people. Yeah. And that seems to be where the issue is.
Well, they're working for somebody, aren't they? Yeah,
or they're just looking at it very kind of black and white rather than, as the three of us here are business owners, we work past 9 till 5. We take calls on a weekend, on an evening. We do our books of an evening. We do lots of things outside of those normal working hours. That means that we need that flexibility, because that's what you are when you run a business. Is you're flexible and you do all that. You take risk. Yet it seems to me, maybe I'm being particularly negative on our government and successive governments, but it seems that they just don't support that. They don't support the risk. I talked about this again at the recent business breakfast meeting I went, that directors now have to validate their ID with Companies House. I understand why. I don't think it's a bad thing. However, when you've got multiple companies, it should be possible for you to validate all in one go. But no, that's not how it works. You might have one company that's due now, one company that's due in September, one company that's due next year, and you can't validate them all in one go. Why have you added that additional administration onto people that are already busy, already taking risks, already doing more than the average person that works 9 till 5? I don't get it. Don't get it at all.
Did you validate yours?
I did, but if you're one of those people that is a bit sceptical, you can't avoid it anyway, because the HMRC app alone, you do the same process to get into that, which took me 20 minutes, and I'm very tech savvy.
You are tech savvy. So are you. I got you to do mine.
Exactly.
Because every time it kept bouncing, and it bounced back on you. And I was so glad it had, because I think I felt really thick about it. And I got my accountant to do the other one. And like you say, I did one for the charity, and then I had to do one for
I don't even think my one for the charity's done yet, because I don't think it can be. I don't think I can do that one till September. But why? Why is it a different date? I don't get it. What is that about?
No idea.
There's no logic there other than it making it more
Complicated.
hard work and complicated.
You should have just been able to go, I'm a director of this company, this company, this company, and this company, whatever, and then it's done.
Job done.
I assumed they did that anyway.
No,
No,
absolutely
and that's the
not.
crazy thing.
No, they're not. It is really crazy. So having kind of established a basic round and basic customers, and you've like you just said, you are very tech savvy, and I love that. And you taught me a lot when we were setting up the company about how to do certain things, and I appreciated that. But it's that. What's your each time? How do you set your goals?
In terms of the runnings of it?
Life.
Oh.
The business, it's because it is very easy, isn't it, to get caught up in that everything's about work.
Yes.
But it can't always be about work. It's about
So the way that I've sort of managed it is, I thought, going back to when we started, what was the goal? Mm-hmm. The goal was for me to get my own house, because I wanted to live on my own, have my own peace, and do what I want when I want. Eventually replace the cars that I've trashed and have a nice one again. So I think everything has sort of been based around that, and we've had smaller goals, how we reach that. Now obviously I've got my own place, so that's one of the goals done. And I think you can sort of correlate that to the day in, day out working. But it gets to a point where you sort of feel yourself starting to burn out, when you feel like you've got no social life, because all you're focusing on is the business, because you know it's going to work out, you're putting in the effort. Mm-hmm. And then you sort of sit down on a Sunday evening and you think, I'm really knackered, or this is just taking over my whole life. I'm not doing anything else other than the emails or quotes, working. And you sort of tired, you're muddy, working in the winter. But yeah.
So what are they? How do you move through that? How do you get through that? Because it is I've done it. I am at the stage where I'm trying to retire, or and kind of just do different things really. And that I find that's really hard, just to be able to say, I'm going to have a day off today, or I'm or whatever the circumstances are. But I find that really hard. Do you?
Yeah, for sure. I think. Yeah.
Well, you've started walking now, haven't you?
Yeah, so I walk most mornings now, which is really nice, and that almost it almost starts my day off quite well, because I'm not a morning go to the gym person, but going and doing a walk that's 10,000 steps actually then means when I get back home, back to the office, I'm then sort of ready for the day almost. I've had my morning me time almost, and can.
Well, I feel like it. After a while, it starts to sort of hack your nervous system. So the more time you spend just focused solely on the business, it gets to a point where it is affecting your nervous system. So like you say, going out for a walk, changing your scenery completely, leaving your phone indoors for an hour can really help.
Yeah, because if you look around, we've all got our phones next to us. Yeah. Mine's turned over, I hasten to add. Yours too aren't. And you keep looking at yours, and you keep looking at yours. It is that control, isn't it? You are very much controlled by your business. And I don't. My phone's always on silent, to everybody's irritation. But there's a part of me that knows for my well-being, I have to have my phone on silent.
But I think this is because, again, we live in this society now where everybody wants everything instantly, but also we live or die on reviews.
Exactly, yeah. And that controls a lot of my life. I hate to say it, but it does. I mean, if I don't reply to someone in 10 minutes, for example, they might have gone and asked another company, or they will ask another company sort of to get another quote because I haven't replied. But yeah, I mean, reviews as well. If you were to get on the wrong side of someone, they know you've got a business, they're sort of in the same industry as you, for example. First thing they'll do is go on Google, leave a fake 1-star review, and you can't do anything about it.
I mean, those reviews that get put up by people who are grumpy with you are, it's so wrong that you cannot take them down. So because
we've had it 4 times now, and
really?
I've been able to get Google to remove it, or I've been able to diffuse a situation. And like the most annoying part of it is that none of them were customers.
Really?
So like, what do you do?
Wow.
But at the same time, they kind of do make themselves look like a bit of an idiot, because we can say, well, you're not a customer. You've left a review because of this situation, or you feel this type of way, and it doesn't really reflect well on yourself.
It's funny, isn't it? Do you get Google reviews?
Luckily, not really. I tend to get people email or call the office and say, so and so's, the music's too loud. They're working on a house and the music's too loud, or they've taken all the parking out the front. It's a public road. I'm not really sure we're not doing anything wrong. Our vehicles are insured, they're taxed, etc. If the space is there, we're allowed to park there. We get that an awful lot. The parking one's a big one, to be honest. But luckily, it's never really gone any further. We did have someone once who basically threatened to spray paint the side of one of the vans because apparently we were parking in their parking space. Again, it was a public road, but apparently it was their piece of road. And I basically said to them, if you do that, that's criminal damage. I'm not really sure what you're expecting here. I think luckily it's a slightly different industry. It's not quite as public facing.
Because you're not exactly a service business.
No.
You don't have the saturation as such that we have in a rural window cleaning industry.
Yeah.
There's probably 4 names on Google competing against each other, and it's sort of, the margins are that slim.
Yeah.
So you have to have a good reputation. You can't cut any corners, and you always run into people like the people that have been calling you that just aren't happy in their lives and want to make it everyone else's problem in that kind of way. But it's how you sort of diffuse it, and that's another thing, another role of the job.
But you're very skilled at that.
Well, I hope so.
No, you are. You are very skilled at that. And I noticed that right from the very start of our relationship. You are very skilled at being able to kind of ease people's minds, get people back on board, and and you apologise. And I think that's if you've made a mistake, you apologise and you do it straight away. You don't ever leave it. And I think that's really important to be able to do that.
To my disadvantage. I feel like I've always had that kind of mindset where if you just over-explain, you prove that actually, no, you've taken this the wrong way. This isn't what I meant.
Yeah.
And you can solve the problem quicker.
Yeah. And the thing, I mean, I find it quite frustrating because we are obviously, like in the rehabs, for example, we get a lot of, comments and stuff like that. I don't the good thing always outweighs the not so good, if you see what I'm saying. But I also feel constructive criticism is healthy. It's not unhealthy. And it's like everything. We can't please everybody all of the time. You can only please some of those people some of the time. And we get this complete kind of overload sometimes of people that... It happens with the charity as well, doesn't it? People are not so kind. And you think, hold on a minute, we don't have to do this. We're not getting paid. This isn't a paid position. We're doing this for love. And yet people are very quick to be critical, unkind, come back with completely inappropriate observations that are not true, but you have to deal with that in a respectful, kind manner. I did call somebody a bully yesterday or the day before because they were being not very nice, and I just thought, no, don't bully me, I'm not having that. Yeah. But sometimes you have to be that direct.
Mm-hmm. So you cover a massive area now. Yeah. How do you manage that?
So we have actually scaled down the area since me and Ange first set it up. So I was going down to Sherborne, Taunton, Wincanton, so sort of the outlying towns around Somerset, and it took me sort of 6 months to realise I've made a mistake here. Driving all the way, an hour to Sherborne for a £20 window clean. You're paying for the windows to be done. So yeah, we scaled it back. We had the map of all the jobs of all the pins, and I've explained this on another podcast. We basically had the county in 4 quarters. so pizza slices. And then we had 4 weeks, so we're going to do 4 weekly or 8 weekly or even 12 weekly, multiples of 4. So the first week we're in the first quarter, then the second quarter, then the third, then the fourth. And it ties in well when you have a multiple because you can scale the business efficiently. Anyone you need to add in, you can say, right, okay, we're with you in 2 weeks' time when we're in your area. And then you build a really compact, efficient round. Even though you're covering a large area, your round is still compact because you work methodically week by week. And you've even got the subsections of Wells, Cokesley, or Glastonbury Street on the Monday, then the Tuesday, for example, of that week for the area.
The thing about that, though, isn't it? It concentrates you in one area for a period of time, doesn't it? And then people see you around. The more they see you around in one area, the more likely they are to say, could you come and clean our windows, please?
What's funny is I see you driving around Burnham-on-Sea so often it's ridiculous because the van just stands out.
Yeah, so that's another sort of expense where I've always been fascinated with business. I've always been fascinated with marketing. And I've always sort of had that cocky mindset, whereas if this was my business, I'd do it this way, that way. I think this would work really well. And this is the first time I've been able to execute things. So for me, having a brand like Pimlico Plumbers, where the vans they all stand out, they've got private plates. It's not so much about saying, look at me, it's creating a brand that sticks. So when someone sees our vans, they either think, oh, it's a British Gas van because it's blue, or they think, oh, it's West Country Windows. But designed them myself, and we sent it off to a company in Glastonbury, and they were quite expensive. So you're looking at around $2,000 for the van. Wow. Part of that expense is the fact they're reflective.
Okay.
So another brainwave I had and something I wanted to trial was sort of in the winter, you've got the dark evenings. If we have a reflective sign-written van, we're sort of boosting that visibility, and it catches people's eyes because just the writing of West Country window cleaning is reflective. And the more that you can sort of reinforce the brand in people's subconscious, I think, the more likely you are for them to book you in future. So that's another expense that I've taken where I could have paid myself the $4,000 and had a sort of magnet sticker system on the van.
Which we started with.
We did, yeah.
Because that's all we could afford at the time. But and they are signature. I love to see them, and I see Sam and he waves, and I see you and you wave, and it's when I'm a bit slow sometimes and forget that it's you. But I think that idea about marketing, I mean, is such an important. We did quite a bit of marketing for the charity, didn't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
through social media. Then.
Yeah, and it can be hard work at times.
Yeah, because that's your job. That's why.
And it's there's a lot of repetition, and it's probably the same for you. There's a lot of repetition because it's the same message all the time. It's, we're going to this, we've got these coffee and chats, we've got this drumming, we've got this, we've got that. And I imagine the same with you in terms of, we're here this week, we're there next week, and so on. Yeah,
it's predictable in terms of, I can say, 6 months' time, I want to go on holiday to Spain. Where am I going to be? How is the week looking? So, I can look on our system, on our CRM, and we can see sort of the plan for the week, and we can move things about. But it is nice and predictable.
For the rehab, we've never really had to market. When we first opened, we did a lot of marketing. We had to, and touch wood. We do marketing, but we do marketing as like we send Christmas cards out with our brochures and things like that because we're such an established business now. We're quite fortunate, really, but it's not easy. I think you're young and have that. Turn your phone over. You're as bad as him. You have that bit, don't you, where it's knowing what the right way. You've got a really good mind on the computer. You really think. Whereas I'm a people's person, so I go, well, we'll try this way because actually it does work. It did, yeah. Because I think having two prongs ideas, you're brilliant online, and I'm rubbish online. I absolutely detest it. But you've done really well, whereas I've got the other element, and I think that complemented the business at the beginning. And you still do leaflets, which I love it.
Yeah, so we do them in-house. Mm-hmm. I have someone in Wales who has a hobby of putting out flyers on his days off.
That's a very strange hobby to have.
But he loves it.
Does he?
He's done it ever since I was that tall.
Wow.
So I pay him however much we pay him every single month, and he's got a couple thousand on him at any given time. So that's really helped us. And then when me and Sam get a quiet week, we sort of finish the work off. Thursday, Friday, we're out putting in the leg work. Sort of what we're doing, like 10,000 steps. And then we're like, right, our legs are hurting, let's go to another area. So yeah, we've put out quite a lot of flyers ourselves. And fortunately, we've been quite busy, so we've escaped it for now. But it's mind-numbing.
Is it one of those things where, you know, you might, my house might be quite a good example. I don't know if you've got any other houses in the village, but, you know, is it a case of, you know, you've got one, actually, to make it a more profitable job, you'd rather have 3 or 4 or 5?
Yeah.
So would you go and sort of target that area?
So I started something that I call like the 5-a-side rule, where if Sam has a more lenient week where he's not rushing around, put 5 flyers out either side of the house you're on. If they book in, great. You've sort of halved the travel expense getting there and leaving there. If they don't, we'll try again in 6 months' time.
I also see. I feel. I mean, I'm a woman that runs a house. You know, Dave actually doesn't. I don't know if he does know where the Hoovers are. Whether he knows how to turn them on is another thing. But you know, I keep house basically, and when somebody puts a leaflet through your door, there's 2 things. You either go, all right, and shove it away. We collect them all in our fire basket over there, and we burn them all. But it's that bit where if somebody's persistent, they go, oh, we've already done it there. Actually, as a housewife, not that I am a housewife as such, if you constantly get the same thing, it actually makes you look at the actual leaflet. And I know people think that's odd, but the first time you ignore it, the second time you think, oh, hold on, have they got something to say? The third time you think, actually, I'm going to give them a ring, you know, especially about your windows. I mean, look at my windows, Ollie.
4 weeks.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But it is, and we live with a lot of grass now, but I love having clean windows.
It's one of my pet hates is dirty windows, for sure.
It is me too.
I went somewhere the other day, I can't remember where it was. It was the cinema at Cabot Circus. I was going up the escalator. I don't know if either of you have been, but you go up the escalator and the windows are filthy. And I mean, you can barely see out of them.
Really?
And I was like, this is just really bad.
Potential job
You
there.
need to go and knock on their door, I feel.
Yeah, that's the issue. I mean, we could happily service a commercial job like that, but the companies that tend to run these places, there's a lot of red tape.
Yeah.
They will only choose someone who's national, who's got 20 vans, and that is their disadvantage.
Yeah, because they're going to pay probably 3 or 4 times the amount for it.
But they don't want to go through the time of like researching, vetting a smaller business, and you've got the risk a smaller business might not be as reliable sometimes. So for us, a lot of what we do is getting our name out there to the commercial clients locally. But I don't think scaling nationally would ever be an option. It would change the dynamics of the business completely.
But you say that, it's a bit like the charity with getting grants. We're not a national charity, so therefore you get restricted by who gives you a grant. Yeah. But the big, like the Mind, Second Step, they get all the money for our area, or get a large proportion of the money for our area from the big grant people. Yeah. And you think, why are you giving it to them? We see probably more clients than they do. I'm not being disrespectful to them. They do a great job. But it's like, they refer them to us as a charity. So they see them go, oh, yeah, they need counselling. Oh, we're not going to do it. Let's send them off to Somewhere House Somerset. Oh, the doctor's surgery. They're the same. We don't mind them doing that. But there is that point where you go, you've been given funding for this. You've been given the money. Give it to us as well. Share the load, really. It would be so much nicer. And I suppose, in a sense, taking on a commercial job, if they went local, if companies went local, they would help so many small businesses. There's a lot to think about, isn't it? So what's your personal goals now? Have you got a car yet?
Not yet. So obviously
my
only interest is cars. And it's sad, but it's true. I don't like sport. I don't even like the F1. I don't have the patience to watch any of it. The only thing that's ever done it for me is cars. Cheddar Gorge, for example, which I know drives you crazy. That's back in my teenage years. But yeah,
It's not as fun now. They've put all the
no.
not bollards, what are they? The
Gabion stones.
Gabion stones, yeah.
Don't want to hit one of them.
No, you don't. Well, somebody did last weekend, and they've smashed
Been
their
hit
car
loads
up.
of times, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously, from a young age, I've always been into my cars, always bit off more than I could chew. Had them on finance, crashed them, engines are blown up, so I'm left with that £300 a month. 2 cars at one point on finance I was paying for I didn't even have, which was the time that me and Ange set up the business. So yeah, I think I could have obviously done it again, maybe even a year ago, and got myself a half-decent car. But I thought, no, I'll wait, put the money into the vans. We've got 2 sort of very nice vans on the road. I could potentially get a third this year, which is the plan, providing we can find the right staff member first, because that is obviously your biggest issue in a business. But yeah, so
The car's on
that's my train of
hold.
thought there.
Car's on
the
hold.
car is on hold, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the dream car?
Realistic dream car would be a Audi RS3.
Unrealistic?
Well, I say unrealistic, it is realistic. An R8, so
Is that Audi as
You're a
well?
big,
90 grand.
Big Audi fan.
yeah.
I don't know what cars are. What's your what would be your biggest goal car?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure I can answer that right now.
Have you got it already?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially. I think it would be very hard to better it.
Right. I would probably go for another one of what I've got
Yeah.
because I like it. I don't know whether I keep thinking about, I'm debating whether to get a new one.
I think a nice GT4
What's one of them?
wheels, like the one Will used to have.
Yeah, but I like a soft top. I like to be able to put the top down and just...
A GT4 would be way too fast for Ange. Plus, it would only do about 100 miles a year.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't, because Will uses it all the blooming time. No, I just think I might need to upgrade my car soon, if it's sooner rather than later. That's just something I've thought about. It's just where do you get the money from at the time to do it? Where do you pull it? Which pot do you come out? But if you have you got that as your goal for the future?
Yeah, so obviously I kind of give myself deadlines because I'm sure I've got ADHD. I only work if I've got a deadline. Yeah. And
I'm going, you have, by the way, in the background.
yeah, so I've set myself these mini goals. That is how I work. Like I did with the vans and Sam, I said, right, by September we're going to employ someone. By February we're going to employ our first employee. And that's worked really well because I've got something to work against, and it's sort of that motivation. You feel guilty if you're not doing anything about it. So, yeah.
Have you ever thought of getting somebody to help with the admin? Or when do you get to that point where somebody else does the admin?
I think when I want to start getting off the tools a little bit.
Right.
The issue is it's manageable now. I have lots of different options. You've got AI assistants, you've got virtual assistants that you pay peanuts, which I didn't really like the idea of doing. Or you can sort of employ a friend. Now, none of that really works for me at the size I am at the moment. It's easier just for me to do it myself.
Yeah.
But sort of when you're at 3, 4, 5 vans, that's when it's really beneficial.
Yeah, definitely. It's a bit like the accountant, isn't it? I mean, we all have to have an accountant now because the way they submit your tax returns and stuff like that. But it is quite, I always think that was always the thing that I've always thought, always have a good accountant, somebody that you know that's on your side that can help you.
We've got the same one now, haven't we?
Yeah.
So the benefit with them is WhatsApp. I know that there's a lot of older sort of previous generation accountants where everything's sort of emails and pen and paper. With ours, I WhatsApp them any questions. 15, 20 minutes, I've got a reply.
Yeah.
All my receipts are on WhatsApp, anything.
Do you send it all through WhatsApp to them?
Yeah.
So do they do all of your bookkeeping?
Do
They do everything.
Yeah, and that gives me time. It's an investment because the time that they spend billing me for the bookkeeping, I've made 3 or 4 times that on the windows. So it's a no-brainer.
Do you do all your bookkeeping? Or do you
I do at the moment, yeah. It's one of those things where I have a love-hate relationship with it. So there's days where I'll sit down and I'll just breeze through it. And there's other days where I go, really just, I don't know what that payment was for. I can't find that receipt. And I hate it and think, I wish I had a bookkeeper to do it. The problem is because the way my business is run, I like to allocate payments against specific things. And I think if I had a bookkeeper, I'd have to give them so much information every time I gave them a receipt. It would be quicker for me to do it myself.
Yeah, I get that. And your business is one that's obviously by materials. We don't have any costs other than diesel, insurance, marketing. So if I had to put it into a number, I'd probably say we're like 2 or 5% of what you spend. So yeah, it's easier for us. Anything that is a bit questionable, I'll put on the photo on WhatsApp with a heading. This is the vendor. This is what it was for, in case they ever need to question it.
So I think if I had to do that, I'd probably be sending a WhatsApp probably about 15 times a day. It would probably drive them up the wall. I went on to Xero the other day. I've not been on for, I don't know. Do you use Xero?
I do, but I'm not too familiar with it.
Okay. So, you know, when you go to like the reconcile bit where, So the other day I logged in. I'd not been on Xero for probably 2 weeks. And there was 296 unreconciled transactions. And I just sat there and thought, fuck's sake.
And are they made by employees?
No, that's just linked with the bank account, and it's just transactions on the bank account. That doesn't include the company credit cards either.
Because that's when it gets difficult, when you can't say this was this or that.
Exactly.
See, that's why. Okay, so I have a system where, and if Dave
you
has
have a bookkeeper.
No. I do have a bookkeeper, but I still have to do my own receipts, and I still have to do Dave's receipts, and I always have. And yeah. I'll talk about that privately, but and then I have to check everything because that's my job. But it's like with the charity, I had 91 reconciliations to do in a day, and I thought, oh God, why have I left it for so long? It's so easy, but also it's complicated because I made a mess of it with the charity, and I've had to learn how to do it differently, and I've done it now, and I'm really pleased with the fact that I can teach myself. But it's not easy when you're dealing with that business and you've got that business and you've got this to deal with and you've got that to deal with. And sometimes it's just a lot. It is a lot. So I think having a WhatsApp that and just whip it off is fantastic.
What I really like is my accountant. She randomly phones me. So she randomly phoned me this morning, funnily enough, to say, how's it going? Is everything okay? Is there anything we can do? And I think that's really nice because it kind of gives you that confidence that you can it's almost like a check-in. You know, is everything okay? Do you need any help on Xero? You know, we're working on your end of year accounts. We might need to ask you some questions, blah, blah, blah. And that's quite nice, which I like.
Yeah, they're making that effort because think how many clients they've got.
Yeah.
And they don't really need to be doing that. And
No.
Yeah.
And I think it's just nice. Yeah.
Well, I rang my accountant yesterday and she rang me back and said, I'm really sorry I didn't answer the phone, Ange. And I went, really don't expect you to be at my beck and call, but thank you for calling me back. You know, and that was because I was frustrated by something and she just reassured me that she could resolve it.
That's good.
But it is that sometimes just having that one person that you can trust. It is a bit of a minefield really when and I'm talking about rehab now where you hand over all of your business accounts to a stranger, really. It takes, and it's always in the back of your mind. It's always in the back of my mind. You know, what happens if something goes wrong? It bothers me. And I think that's why I find it reassuring with a charity that you and I do the finances for the charity. And it's all really simple. But when you've got a company, you've literally handed that trust over to somebody. And we tried it with somebody else, didn't we? And they were awful. It was awful. We thought, well, stay local. Oh, that was a disaster, wasn't it?
Yep.
Absolute disaster.
And it's always a pain, isn't it, when you change accountants or bookkeepers? There's such a lot of effort to move and information they need and learning and it's
easier to stay put.
It really is, yeah.
But sometimes it's also not the best thing for you as an individual or as a company.
No, exactly.
And it can get in the way. And I think that's something that lots of people are a bit nervous. I've got a friend that's still got the same account. They've had the same accountant for 40 years.
I went to a funeral actually not that long ago. An old family friend, who he was an accountant, and the majority of the people that were in the service were his clients.
Really?
Because he had such good relationships with them.
Yeah.
Long-term relationships. Yeah, they were they were friends. They become friends as a result.
Do you think you'll get friendly with Ash?
If I stay long enough. It's benefiting me at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a relief. I don't mind spending more money. I don't know how expensive she is compared to the ones we have.
She's quite good value.
But yeah, I mean, even if they are expensive for me, the relief lets me focus on other things.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to focus on numbers. I just want to scale the business and be out on the tools.
Yeah. And I think that's important, is using your skills to benefit your company and letting other people use their skills to benefit your company, because fundamentally that's what it's about. What's happening about the fuel? Because obviously fuel's gone up ridiculously.
Yeah.
So how's that impacted?
So I know, well, I like to know that this isn't going to be forever.
Yeah.
I imagine it'll come down in a few months. My mindset is that we have to do an extra job a week to account for the fuel. I'm not really seeing it as something that's affecting us that much.
So you're not passing it on to your customers?
We're not passing it on, no.
Well, a lot of people are, aren't they? A lot of people are.
So we bought 2 carbon fibre poles yesterday, which are normally 500 quid each. Ended up being 650 quid each because of the Iran conflict charge.
Really?
And I thought that's quite cheeky, and I wouldn't have bought them, but this brand you can't get from any third-party vendors. It's just them. So I had no choice.
Wow.
Did they actually name it as the...
Yeah.
No.
On the invoice, you've got that, and then you've got the Iran conflict charge.
Wow. That's crazy.
That is
That's
incredible.
unbelievable. I've not heard anyone else doing that.
No, neither have I.
To me, all it screams is our products are made in China. They're coming over on a shipping container. The container's been delayed, so you have to forfeit the cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it screams to the consumer.
Yeah.
Does the Chinese go through the Straits of Hormuz to get...
Yes, because it goes up to
I've got,
Suez Channel, doesn't it?
I've got no idea. I've got no idea.
Don't know. I'm not sure.
I am really thick when it comes to geography. I get lost in my own back garden. Except now you've bought a drone.
Yeah.
You can give me a map. Yeah. So why have you bought a drone? Tell us.
So I enjoy marketing. Mm-hmm. Even though it's my business, I enjoy the marketing. So I'm thinking, what are these different methods we can try, these different channels? We've done a bit of TikTok, haven't done Instagram, done Facebook. So we're really heavy on the Facebook marketing because most of it is free in the community groups. So yeah, the drone, I thought we can get some nice B-roll, which is footage in a montage of a video of the vans driving along or a solar panel clean. I want to just set the business ahead of all of our competitors in Somerset because they're, no offence to them, they're doing the bare minimum. They maybe post once a month. We're posting every single day. And we're sort of creating a brand that's informative. Anyone that doesn't know window cleaning, they can look at our content.
But people don't realise how important that is to some people that don't have... It's almost like they're waiting for your post. People make it almost like it's a friend connection, especially when they're lonely. They're waiting for Ollie to put something on or Sam to put something. Do you know what I'm saying? They're waiting for you to put something on every week, every day.
We follow a rule, which I think that is great, where anything you post as a business in terms of marketing, you have to follow the rule of it has to be engaging. If someone doesn't care about your product, but they watch your video, Facebook or TikTok will boost the algorithm. Then in future, when you want to buy ads, your cost per click is then minimal because you're an entertaining brand. They want to keep consumers on the platform.
Yeah.
If you're entertaining, you are an asset to Facebook.
Yeah.
You benefit from it. So I've followed that rule of all our content. I've made it half decent. So if you're scrolling through the Wedmore page, you see, oh, right, this stands out. Let's have a look. Instead of just scrolling past the generic salesy advert.
Good idea. Do you do that?
No, I'm terrible, to be honest. Again, it's a different. I'm not trying to sell something to an individual, so it's a bit different. I think that's the key bit.
I suppose it's recognising the value for your individual organisation and enhancing your business accordingly, isn't it? It's like I see Will on doing some of the things that he does. My God, he was riding a horse the other day.
I love his content now.
Yeah, it's
so
really
good.
good fun, and it's
up that.
and it is funny. But of course, we watch him film a lot of it, so we're in hysterics. I've got a picture of him. He refused to get in the pool. Okay, out of principle, he said, "You've wasted our inheritance on a swimming pool? And I went, no, we spent James's inheritance on the swimming pool. Yours is still safe. We laugh about it as a family, but he's never gotten. Well, he's got in that pool more times since he's been doing his social media with his new guy. It's so funny. And he was sat out there the other day, half naked, in a pair of trunks on the sunbed. I'm thinking, honestly, it's freezing out there as well. Couldn't think of anything worse.
All for the gram, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. It is literally all for that. So, got a dog yet?
No, I've got a cat.
Oh, you've got a cat.
I'm not a cat person, but I've ended up with a cat.
Where did the cat come from?
So Lou found one on Facebook. A friend of a friend had a batch of kittens on the go.
Oh, right.
And that was it. I was told I was having a cat, and here we are.
But you on ground floor or you're on upstairs?
Ground.
Oh, right, so you can have a cat then. And it goes out, I'm
It's an
assuming.
indoor one.
Oh, they smell.
No, I said that was the conditions, really. Like, the upkeep has to be A1.
Yeah.
We've not got the biggest house.
No.
It's not small. So you're not living in, like, close quarters with the cat. But as long as you change their litter trays every single day, they're all right.
I hated doing that when we had a cat. Absolutely hated it.
Dogs growing up.
Yeah.
Labradors, and you know what they smell like.
Yeah. Well, our dogs don't live in, so they live out, so they don't really smell, in my opinion. Everybody else thinks they do, but they don't. Okay, I think we've done, aren't we?
Yeah, I think we are.
I think we've
Thank
done
you so much for coming
really.
on.
Thank
You've
you
been great.
so much. Yeah, I think it's
Got anything else you want to add, or people? Oh, how can people can find you?
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook, West Country Window Cleaning, TikTok, the same, or where else are we?
Instagram.
You're on Instagram, but like you said, you don't really post them.
That's just sort of like
For
chuck
me.
a post up, done.
You need to set it up so when you post on Facebook, it cross-posts
Does
it to
both.
Instagram
Yeah,
automatically.
it's the connection's glitched, so we can't actually do
Yeah,
that.
I had that, didn't I? For ages, it didn't. It never did both.
Try again.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming
Yeah,
on.
thank you.